the EGVRS tour around the retina world in 30 days. In this tour, we will get to meet the stars of the retina, vitreoretinal surgery around the world. We will get to know more about their personal life, their success stories, challenges they meet, their dreams, and more and more. For 30 days, we will roam Mother Earth, exploring retina world around us, communicating and learning from each other, not only about the retina and the vitreoretinal surgery, but also about the wisdom of life. Our stop today will be in Asia. We will land in India, and we shall meet Dr. Manish Nagpal.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me with you in this wonderful organization, the meeting. And it's a pleasure to be amongst all the friends of the Egyptian Vitreoretinal Society.
We will start now the social part of our episode. And we would like to know more about you, Dr. Manish, how you become an eminent ophthalmologist and eminent retina consultant, your dreams, how you study medicine in India, and everything in your way to success.
Thank you very much. So I was born in 1971 to my father, who was an ophthalmologist, a retina specialist, and a mother who was a gynecologist. And like any other child growing up, I used to love flying kites and trying to drive my father's scooter. And many times they will ask me, what do you want to become? And I could not pronounce, I was so little gynecologist or ophthalmologist. So it used to be father-cologist or mother-cologist. And my mother, being a gynecologist, used to spend a lot of time in emergencies, come back late in the night, sometimes go in the middle of the night. And I thought my father's work was more organized because he did not have so much emergencies. And I used to say I will become a father-cologist when I grow up. So what you were asking,
to be an ophthalmologist because of the stress of the gynecology.
Yes.
Yes.
Something like that. So yeah, so when I was very little, these conversations used to happen, and then I think I was quite impressed with the way medicine was, because I used to see all my mother's friends used to visit us, all doctors, and I always wanted to become a doctor, and then eventually ophthalmologist, and then eventually a retina person. Now, as I went into medical school, I found my wife of 27 years now, who is also a co-student. She's also an ophthalmologist, and we got married in 1995. And we had a daughter in 99, and then 2003 we had a son. So we have this lovely 2 kids with us. Now you can see they're grown up. We also have a pair of 2 lovely dogs who are part of our family.
And they are ophthalmologists also? Or willing to be ophthalmologists?
No, they don't. My son is in London doing medicine, doing biomedical engineering, and my daughter is in Spain doing hospitality management. Yeah.
So no ologist more.
No ologist more.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And so I did medicine from my own city, Ahmedabad, the medical college here, and also did residency and did post-graduation at the MNJ Institute within Ahmedabad. After that, I went to England and did FRCS at Edinburgh. This is a picture from the day I finished the fellowship at Edinburgh in Scotland. And after that, I spent some time with Professor Dua at Nottingham, to learn some basics from him. He's a cornea specialist, though. And then I came back and joined my father's hospital. This is the hospital he had started in 1976, and I joined him in 1997. And eventually we renovated and modernized the place in around 2004 or 5, and I've been working there since then continuously. Yeah. And as you know, my passion is teaching, as well as I realized very soon that when you operate, you you want to teach and you want to show what you're doing, what you see, and
I can see many Oscars here.
yes, these are all the video awards that you see over many years. These are the Red Buckler Awards from the ASRS for the best videos. So I used to be always passionate about getting good footage of whatever I operate, because when you operate, sometimes you cannot get the right footage. And for teaching, for explaining somebody what you do, it's important. I've always been passionate about it, and it's something that I still do on a daily basis, trying to get the best footage of surgeries.
I'm following you, Dr. Manish. I can see how fascinating you are in photography, especially in ophthalmology photography and nature photography.
Yes, so both are different. I mean, similar passions. I mean, to treat the surgery as an art, to capture it the same way I have interest in nature and wildlife and bird photography, and I always try to find time to do that. In between, when some meetings, live surgeries, you can see Carl Klaas in my operation theater in one of the meetings some years back. Kuros was here doing the retinas. Andrew Chang, you see here. So many, every 2 or 3 years, we do a live surgery meeting when we try to get some of the best people to come and perform live, as well as give us didactic talks. And it's always been important for us to share and organize good CME programs. I also work with the companies. This is with 2006 with the Alcons ITC Center, where they develop the Constellation, the Accurus, the other machines, and in part of their advisories and international advisories. So I've always worked with these people to develop the best possible machines. And eventually, at the whale vitrectomy meeting, where some of the best ideas are shared surgically. In fact, Dr. Sharif Shetta has been a great inspiration. He's always been there at these meetings as a mentor, and it was a privilege to be part of coordinating the Asia Pacific part of it, and I used to look after it for 2 meetings of the whale in 2016 and 19, and then it's a pleasure to be with these meetings. I also work very closely with Orbis. It's the Flying Eye Hospital. I work with them in some of the missions that they do voluntarily at different places. This picture is from Chittagong in Bangladesh some years back, and I regularly do webcasts with them. Last week I'd done one with them on macular surgery, and every year they have a cyber site.
So what's your favorite countries you would like to travel to?
Well, I would love to come back to Egypt. It's been one of my favorites, actually. I would not hesitate to say that. I have some pictures
How many times you have been to Egypt?
3 times. 3 times.
3 times. Okay.
And I think I was supposed to be there in 2020 March or April, when you had one of your meetings. Everything was booked, and I think because of COVID we couldn't make it. Otherwise, me and my wife, we had both planned to be there. Yeah. We have great memories from.
I can see nice photos from the nature now.
Yeah. So you asked me about the hobby, and this is something I call my second passion, because the first passion is retinal surgery, and I think that's something which will always remain the first. And the second is nature, and I like to go. I have equipments now over the years I've developed to take some good pictures of nature, of birds, of animals in the wild. I've slowly been getting bigger equipment so that I can capture the smallest of birds with these lenses. This is in Africa. I go to Africa every few years because it's the best source of getting great experiences with the wildlife in these situations. And of course, in India, we have the Royal Bengal tiger. We have national reserves where you can go and see this beautiful animal very closely and it's something that all of you must experience sometime if you get a chance to come here and see these beautiful wild animals close to you, and they are totally wild, and you can see them from your jeeps roaming around, and the adrenaline flow which you will get is amazing when you see these beautiful creatures around you. And I had some great times capturing them in different sequences over many years now, and trying to capture some beautiful birds, doing all kinds of
Fascinating photos, fascinating
activities.
photos. I think these photos need a professional photographer. Yes, yes. Really, I'm not kidding. This great photos. Actually, I am following you, and I can see that even
Thank
when
you.
you take photography for the retina, it's
Yes.
also very, very interesting.
Thank you. Yes.
So, a question that I would like to ask: uh, uh, in India, ophthalmology practice still have challenges, or it's okay? Do you think that practice of ophthalmology in India nowadays is very established?
Well, yeah, India is, as you know, it's a vast country with amazing variety of this doctors, profession, and ophthalmology is. What I would say is it's not uniform. There are centers of excellence, and so there's some amazing work done at various places, but everywhere you will not find the same quality of work, and so there is difference in different place. Every city has some very good centers, very skilled professionals, and there are some which may not be as skilled. So there's a wide variety of differences which you'll see, but we have some of the best in the field who travel, who extensively, who have extensive experience, and more than anything else, we have a good volume of work with each cases. So the experience build-up is much faster in
Yes.
India because of our population. Yes.
Myself, in 2008, I learned phaco in Griwal Eye Hospital in the north in Chandigarh.
I see. I see. Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your dreams for the future, Dr. Manish?
Well, my dream is to. I mean, I love to teach, and so for the last 25 years that I've been working, we train fellows. We keep on every year training new people, and I want to be able to keep doing that as best as I can till I have the passion within me, and I want to see that more and more people understand that one has to uh, be passionate about these things, and it's not something that you have to continuously keep on doing things to become good at it, and keep on working at things. Hard work is required, and I want to be able to teach them a lot of these things as we grow. Yeah.
It's always great to transfer skills to young doctors.
Yes.
I can see nice photo from the pyramids here.
Yes, so this is you were asking about the best one of. So my wife and me both, one of my favorite countries is Egypt, and we had some of our best experiences. We went on the hot air balloon also.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it was beautiful, and this is one of those amazing meals. The food is wonderful. Ihab was a great host in one of our trips. You can see how the spread of some amazing variety of food has been there, and we would love to come back again. Yeah.
Yes, sure. You are welcome at any time, sure. Thank you for this very nice and interesting social part. I really enjoyed it. And I think we will enjoy also the scientific presentation.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Manish, for the very interesting social part. And now we will enjoy also the scientific part.
As Dr. Weil mentioned, I will be sharing some experience with managing giant retinal tears. And as I say, giant retinal tears are something which spread wide in the periphery, and it's all about the view, because you need to see them well to be able to treat them. And it's all about the view, and visualization is the most important part of trying to manage giant retinal tears. So the game changers for managing giant tears is wide field viewing systems. And of course, we cannot forget perfluorocarbon heavy liquid. And for both, we have Dr. Stanley Chang to thank for, because he's been instrumental in developing both these aspects. Otherwise, in the past, to manage giant retinal tears, it used to be a huge challenge, and surgeons used to lie down on the ground and operate inverted. Patients used to be inverted on a table to be able to manage it. It used to be extremely complex. And today, with all this development, it has become much more easier to manage giant retinal tears. So I will take you through sequences of different tears to show you how we manage these tears effectively. And as you can see, visualization is important. I use the contact wide field lenses. A lot of my friends use non-contact biomes, but whatever system you use, a wide field imaging is required, because you need to go to the periphery, remove the vitreous, remove the peripheral edge of the tears effectively. You can see the bare choroid below, and the moving, flapping edges of the giant retinal tear which are there. And now you can see that the periphery is being cleared up. After that, once you know that the retina is free from vitreous, you start putting in the heavy liquid perfluorocarbon so that it can passively flatten the retina so that you can handle the tear. Otherwise, it cannot be handled easily, because there is always a moving flap, a large flap which is moving. Once you have it flat, you do a good laser, 360 laser barrage all around. And after that, you have two choices. One is a direct exchange. People can do with PFCL oil. I prefer this a two-step exchange. I first go to air. I make sure the edges are dry. As you can see here, that air is coming in, and I'm trying to make sure that the edges of the tear are dry. And after that, remove the rest of the PFCL, top up the laser wherever is required, and at the end, maybe put oil as a tamponade. So it's a two-step procedure. So this is a classic way that we manage these tears. And I'll show you different types of tears that are encountered. This is again a more posterior one as compared to that with the ragged edge, but the principle is the same. Some of these tears starts everting also at some point, and of course they have a peripheral edge. Most important part is to remove the vitreous, and then, as I said, also once you have you've put enough PFCL, you can also cut some of the extreme periphery which you were not seeing earlier, because once retina is fully flat, you can assess that part better. So at times I also under air remove some last bit of the vitreous which is still there in these cases. Now this is a case which is post-traumatic. You can see some blood hemorrhage also which has spilled over from the temporal part. Somebody had tried to laser it. You could see some laser marks in the bare choroid in some areas of this as well. And then of course you have the peripheral anterior edge which is being cut. But once again, we do the same thing, remove the vitreous, remove the edges, do a good laser, do an exchange of PFCL air. You can see a full 360 barrage. After that, you can put in oil, which is removed at 3 months or 4 months. Now, this is a tear which is almost 270, 280 degrees, and you can see it is folded on itself. And so first of all, we remove the vitreous all around it so that we can free it from that whole area. And after that, we try to unfold it to look at where the disc is, where the macula is, to get an idea. You can see how mobile it is, and it has an attachment inferiorly. Now, because it's a 280-degree tear, and with this small attachment inferiorly, which has become stiff, I'm worried that the PFCL, as I keep on injecting, may go on the choroid. It will overspill. So at some point, I realized that the inferior I want to convert it into a 360 degree because there is a stiffness of this attachment. So once you realize there is stiffness, it is better to cut the edge. So I do some diathermy to prevent bleeding and then cut off the peripheral edge and make it a 360 degree so that it is totally mobile and has no stiffness, because this otherwise in the future will lead to a contraction which will come up. So in such cases, I convert it into a 360 degree tear.
Dr. Manish, do you do radial tears to allow you to relax the retina easily?
Yes, sometimes I do. If there is a lot of PVR and contractions, we do use the radial retinotomies as well in those situations. But more often with giant tears, circumferential ones, if there is a less than 360 and if there is stiffness, a circumferential whole tear, if you make it into a 360, the contraction doesn't act. But if there is significant PVR, where there is an extension contraction of retina as a whole with lot of star folds, there at some places I think relaxing it by making radial retinotomies help as well.
Also, how to avoid rotation when you have 360 retinectomy?
Yes, so you cannot avoid it. You may get some rotation, but you have to realize the landmarks and then bring it back, which is exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. So let me show you that. So this is actually interesting video. A young boy, one-eyed boy who had lost his other eye to a giant tear came to us, very high myopic, came to us with a 360 giant tear in this eye as well, another eye. And we've just started surgery, and here, because he's a young boy, the vitreous is very densely attached. So we try to remove it. We start removing it, and after that, because I want to see the attachment better, I put triamcinolone to stain it, and I've also put some PFCL in the posterior pole. But as soon as I start pulling on the triamcinolone, the PFCL goes behind because there is nothing holding the retina. It is a 360 degree mobile, so all the PFCL goes back. So I take out that PFCL which is there. As you can see, again put some PFCL posteriorly, gradually again, because I had lost it once, so I again put it. Then again use a bimanual approach. This time I put a chandelier and I'm using a blunt instrument in my left hand so that I can hold the retina while I peel this. We call this the tug of war situation with the giant tear. So gradually I'm able to separate. As you can see that the left hand, the instrument is holding the retina while I use aspiration and suction with the cutter to peel off the attached vitreous. So I keep doing that, and once or twice I lose PFCL again because of these movements. So I let it be. I let the PFCL behind till I'm satisfied that I've removed all the vitreous from this tear edge. Once I'm happy with it, then I put PFCL again, and now you can see that there is a bit of a rotation of this, and with this blunt instrument I'm trying to massage and iron out the folds and bring back the macula. If you see, is down, is facing down, and now I've gradually massaged and brought it using a blunt instrument so that the macula comes back to a normal situation. So this is an example of what you were asking. When it's a 360 flap, when you put PFCL, put it back, sometimes it would have rotated. So you have to manually bring it back with some blunt instrument. You could use a soft tip cannula. I use a blunt massager, we call it, which irons out the folds and use it. So this is how you bring it back in a situation like this.
Actually, great photography and a great video recording. What type of microscopy are you using?
I use the Zeiss microscope, and we have a Sony camera, which is a HD camera with which we record. Yeah. And incidentally, this video just 3 days back got the 7th annual global video contest at the American Academy. So I sent it there last year for some global contest, and they just sent me this 3 days back. So I was happy to see that. We called it the tug of war with the giant retinal tear.
Great news and congratulations.
Thank you.
Actually, I like it, the video recording. It's very obvious and clear. You told me that you use non-contact or contact viewing system.
I use contact. I use the Voke contact lenses, wide field lenses there, HRX with lenses there, or Mini Quad XL they call it. It gives excellent wide field viewing, and I'm very happy with the quality of.
I think it's
optics.
great viewing. Great viewing. Do you sometimes need to do ILM peeling in giant retinal breaks?
Not in all cases, but I will show you a circumstance where I use it. Let me show you. Okay, a case like this, you can see that this is a traumatic one, and you can see a very temporal, a very posterior giant tear with a macular hole here, which has formed. So I'm first removing the vitreous, and after that, you can see that I'm peeling it, because there is also a macular hole. But what I do is that I remove the ILM from the macular hole, and I extend the ILM peeling right up to the edge of the tear, because the tear edge is so close to the macular hole that there will be a contraction in that area, and which is what sometimes causes will post-surgery a contraction or a pucker may form because of that. So I extend the peeling right up to the edge, and you can see that there was an inverted edge, so which I massaged and straightened, and then of course do some laser to this whole area at the end of surgery. So wherever there is a macular pucker or a macular hole along, I like to peel, but in normal giant tears I don't peel.
I think I saw very interesting videos, difficult cases, especially in young patients. It's sometimes it's very difficult to remove the vitreous in this very mobile retina, but you succeeded also. Congratulations for these nice videos, and I enjoyed very much. Do you have take-home messages for giant retinal breaks that we can note?
So the take-home message is that you should have good visualization. So make sure that whatever system you use, whether it's a contact or a non-contact, because if you are not seeing the periphery, you will not be able to do justice to a good cleanup and making sure the edges are clear of the vitreous, the interior edge is gone. Because if that does not happen, then the surgery is very likely to fail. So visualization is the most important thing. Then, of course, the steps of surgery, that you first clear the vitreous, assess the peripheral edge, remove it, then put PFCL gradually and see how it behaves in the how is the retina behaving once you start injecting, and gradually increase the amount of perfluorocarbons. So in every case, make sure. Here also I'm peeling the hyaloid. You can see there's a blood-stained hyaloid which is there. So first remove that whole area. Once you are sure, then only inject PFCL, because otherwise, if there is already vitreous which is not removed, it will create problems. And the most important factor is this exchange. I feel is very important, and that also you need wide field viewing. As soon as you switch to air, you want to see that the edges are dry. Once the edges are dry, then you remove the PFCL up to the disc, and after that you could put silicone oil, or some people like to do a direct exchange, which is also working very well. So based on whatever one is trained with or happy with, either of the two will work. So if you follow this sequence, I think you're very likely to succeed in giant tears.
And for the macula, you are using contact also, non-contact or contact for the macula peeling?
Yes, for macular peeling, I use the contact, but I switch from the wide field to a plano lens, a normal, like with the irrigating lens variety of the plano lens. That also Vogue makes or Grishaber makes. They're just flat lenses you put on the macula, and it allows you very good magnification to peel.
Yes. Actually, I am also fan of two steps removal of perfluorocarbon and air silicone oil exchange. Although
Right.
a lot of surgeons like the direct silicone perfluoro oil
Yes.
exchange. Do you prefer any of them, or do you think both of them can work? And how to avoid slippage?
Yeah, so it's basically for slippage that the peripheral drying is, if you use a two-step, which is what I use, and I've always used that. So I prefer doing two-step over the direct exchange, but I know I have a lot of colleagues who only do direct exchange and they don't like two-step. So it's a personal thing. I think it's whatever you're trained with and happy with. Both work very well, but with both you have to be careful that the edges are dry, and so that no fluid comes in, which is what causes the slippage. If at all slippage occurs, you may have to go back again. If it's happening on table, you can sometimes go back and put perfluorocarbon and flatten it, and restart that process exchange again. But if it is seen the next day morning, if it is not successful, then you may have to go back again at time. But if you do careful drying of the edge, it is very rare that you will get slippage.
I agree with you. I agree. Thank you, Dr. Manish, for this interesting presentation. I really enjoyed it. The viewing, the recording, the clear photos. We have a lot of take-home messages. I'm happy to have you this year with the EGVRS Around the World program. I'm looking forward to have you in the next activities of EGVRS.
Thank you very much for having me on this show, and it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I look forward to being at one of the meetings physically in Egypt. As I told you earlier, it's my favorite country and would love to come back there again and meet all our good friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome.